What makes ordinary people risk their lives for others? And once they do so, will they survive? Welcome to Psychomanteum. I'm Karin Shah. Here we venture into the other side of the mirror, paranormal mysteries, scary stories, and all things supernatural. If that sounds like your jam, and if you like what you hear, please drop a like so we can grow. Now, gather round, everyone. On Saturday, February 12th, 1927, 19-year-old Winnifred Hathaway walked through the snow-covered trees on the farm his father worked on the western shore of Lake Champlain in upstate New York. Lake Champlain is a long, skinny lake formed between New York's Adirondack Mountains and Vermont's Green Mountains. It is 120 miles long and 12 miles wide. This late in the winter, it had frozen over at its widest point. Winnifred had lost his job at the local paper mill a few days earlier and was stuck helping his father cut down firewood on that frigid morning. But as he and his father worked, motion out on the lake caught their eyes. Tiny figures frantically ran from the ice fishing huts that dotted the lake. The realization hit him all at once. The ice was breaking up, and at a speed they had never seen before. Winnifred and his father exchanged hurried words as they confirmed each other's worst fears. The men they both knew were going to drown if nothing was done. Winnifred took off running to the house. The landowner's daughter Martha was visiting, and she had a canoe. He ran up to her bedroom window and knocked, panicked, yelling, "The ice is breaking up. The wind is rising. They thought it was solid. I know them all. They're going to drown. My father says so too." Winnifred and Martha rushed to the shed where she stored her canoe and broke in. Then Winnifred cut a length of rope with a knife, tying some to the bow and some to the stern, grabbed an oar to paddle with, and they dragged the canoe to the shore. By now, the strong wind had blown the ice floe with the men, 6 in total, trapped aboard, toward the far shore of Vermont. The open water was a choppy, perilous mass of heaving water and chunks of ice, smaller floes smashing into larger ones and biting off hunks with every impact. It was clear the large piece the fisherman rowed wouldn't last. Winnifred launched into the frigid lake, leaving Martha behind, and began paddling as fast as he could east toward the stranded men. But the rough waves and high winds buffeted the canoe, and Winnifred realized the ice would chew his canoe up and tried to turn back. But the powerful winds made turning impossible. The only way open to him was ahead. He paddled as hard as he could, but soon became pinned up against an ice floe. Desperately, he pulled himself onto the ice and dragged the canoe up behind him, sliding it along the ice until he came to another stretch of open water. Once there, he set off again, paddling like mad through the turbulent waves. Almost on instinct, he clambered onto the ice and dragged the canoe behind. This became his system. Encounter an ice floe, get out of the canoe and haul it across the stretch of ice, get back in and fight the water to the next ice floe, and on and on. Finally, after 45 minutes, he reached the men. The men helped Winnifred and the canoe out of the freezing water. Now, on the large ice floe with the men, Winnifred could see that the originally almost 400-foot large floe had shrunk considerably. Worse, the shifting winds had pushed it to the southeast into the thicker ice, meaning the floe was stuck. Feeling their best chances were toward the east, Winnifred and the fisherman dragged the canoe behind them as they went. Winnifred battled exhaustion as they proceeded toward the southeast, falling twice up to his waist in broken sections of ice, each time relying on his frozen fingers' vice grip on the canoe to stop himself from falling in completely. Winnifred and the fisherman walked a treacherous obstacle course across the ice, jumping across narrow breaks and using the canoe as a bridge across others, and in wider sections, piling into the canoe and traveling the icy water. But Winnifred could only transport 2 men at once in the small boat, and had to deposit them on the next floe and paddle back to retrieve the rest. Sometimes he would paddle the canoe while the men remained on a floe holding the rope from the stern. Once he reached the next floe, he would climb out, and the men would haul the canoe back to them, get in, and once they reached him, climb out and send the canoe back for the next batch. On and on, Winnifred and the men continued through their fatigue until at last they arrived, wet and shaking, at Charlotte, Vermont, 4 miles from the original break in the ice. In the days that followed, the local papers hailed Winnifred as a hero. The 6 men he had risked his life to save presented him with a gold watch, and the Carnegie Hero Fund awarded him a bronze medal and a monetary prize worth more than half his father's yearly salary. Martha wrote of Winnifred, "He was a hero in the village, his exploit published in the papers, but I knew that his own fulfillment came that night when he led the ice fishermen safely across the lake and they returned to the world of the living." Thanks for listening. Please drop us a like and subscribe. In the following days, look for more stories, both true and fictional, and explorations of all things creepy and unexplained. If you have a story to share, drop an email to the address in the description. Until next time, think twice before you look behind you in the mirror. There may be something on the other side.